Hey guys, what's up? And today we're going to talk about one of the biggest hurdles that new players and generally people who want to get better at the game have. It's one of really the biggest obstacles and the greatest thing that you really have to understand and work through in order to get better. And that's really remaining active. One of the easiest things there are in the game to explain, and the first thing that people learn is what to do in the laning stage. Because the laning stage is very, very structured. It's the most structured part of a match because you know what you need to do, whatever your role may be. As a carry, you just need to farm. As a support, you need to maybe pull the neutral creeps, which is a very technical thing to do that you just need to know how to do in the correct timing. The thing is, what happens after the laning stage? And the laning stage can end, I mean, you could start talking about crazy weird things happening and ganking and moving about and rotating. Those things can happen at level 1. But let's say in the normal game it happens around level 6 when people get their ultimates and want to start using them. So around that level, around that stage, you need to start being active and doing other things other than being at the laning stage. And that's pretty much the hurdle. People get to the point where, what the hell am I supposed to do right now? I'm not sure what I need to do. And that thing is huge, actually. And I see people, even at higher levels of game, and every once in a blue moon, I actually also get the feeling that, okay, I'm not actually completely sure what I need to do. And when I reach that situation, I resolve it very, very quickly because I have 8 years of experience. But most people are just not sure what to do, and they just stand around and move about or maybe follow someone else, and then they're not actively doing anything. Now, when I say actively doing anything, I want to really emphasize what's the difference between being passive and being active. Being passive is standing in place and not doing absolutely anything. Being active is doing any small thing that's useful, even if that small thing takes exactly 30 seconds. And I'm talking about buying wards is something. It's something active. Standing in place isn't. And farming the small jungle camp is something. Rotating from a lane to a different lane, that's something. And what really will help people is actually have a mental checklist. This is actually anybody who's ever played a strategy game, such as StarCraft, let's say, the most obvious example. If you look at StarCraft, there's a lot of people who always talk about the mental checklist that you have to have in your mind. You have to think about supply all the time, think about saturating your bases. If you've never played StarCraft, supply is just how much units you can actually create, and you have to build something in order to allow you to build more units. And saturate the bases means have the ideal amount of workers in each one of your bases. And you have to keep thinking about these things and keep rotating. Am I building units? Am I getting more supplies? Am I saturating my bases and building more workers? All the time, going through the mental checklist, doing that. And Dota, in that sense, is a lot like that. Because you keep, specifically, let's talk about supports, which is the ones that have the biggest mental checklist. Did I place wards? Do I have wards on my person right now in my inventory? Should I go place them? Are there wards to buy, or are they on cooldown? If they're not on cooldown, I should buy them. Do I need to buy any additional things? Do we need to smoke right now? Are there invisible heroes? Do I need to get dust or sentries? Do I need to go support and pull for my carry? Should I have nothing else to do and I should try and go kill jungle camps, even the small camp, which would give me a little bit of gold, which is exactly, I need a little bit of gold in order to buy my support items. And did I get boots yet? Should I upgrade my boots? All the time you have to do these very basic things and have to keep thinking, because standing in place isn't doing anything. Now, it's really important to think about, to understand what being active means. All of those things I just said are things that you can do, and none of them involve really being aggressive. And I didn't even say pushing, and I didn't say ganking. Those are obviously two things that you need to do. Those are obviously two active things. But they involve the enemy as well, which is different calculations all in there. So being active doesn't mean being aggressive. And I want to say it's really, really important that I would always prefer someone who is more cautious than someone who's more aggressive. Because if you don't know what you're doing and you're being aggressive, you'll die and you're just feed, and that'll be horrible. So I rather people be more timid and that's something that you need to learn when really to engage, when really to chase, when to gank. Those are things that you need to learn. Being active doesn't mean doing only those things. So you can do other things other than ganking and that kind of stuff. And I talked about supports mainly, but it also relies to every other hero and every other role. Specifically, let's take the complete opposite. Let's talk about the carries. I see a lot of carries that think they have a specific role. This is actually a little bit different, but it's still the same thing. And I actually want to give the biggest example is Klings. Klings, once he gets Orchid, he's awesome at killing heroes. If he finds a hero at the correct position, silence, fire arrows, he's dead. And that's so easy to do. Once you have Orchid, and if you find someone just mindlessly farming something, it's really easy to do. And if you see a Klings, what they like doing is get Orchid and then hunt for heroes. And just hunt for heroes. And they spend 3 minutes hunting for heroes and then finding 1 kill, maybe, or maybe dying. And the thing is that 3 minutes is a crap ton of time. If you happen to find a hero while you're farming other creeps, you can kill him. But as Klings, you need to be farming. What usually happens is that they kill a couple of heroes, but their CS is shit, so they don't actually have any farm. And the opposing carries, even if you've killed them a couple of times, catch up, and then the Klings is kind of useless. And Klings, in order to be able to kill stuff, you need to be one big item ahead of everybody else. And he's an amazing farmer. I mean, he can go jungling super easily because he has his ultimate, which just picks up the biggest creep, and then he has a crap ton of HP and damage, and he just kills stuff so easily. And farming in general at the beginning stage is also really easy for him because of fire arrows that give you a huge bonus. So he's an amazing farmer. And once you get Orchid, you should keep farming and not go farm heroes, because the only hero in the game that can actually farming, there's no such thing as farming heroes. In the first place, there isn't such a thing as farming heroes. There is killing other heroes, which is different from farming. The only hero that killing heroes equals farming for him is Bounty Hunter, because he gets a huge bonus for it. It helps the entire team, and he isn't actually a full carry. He isn't a hard carry. He's a semi-carry. So he doesn't need huge amounts of items in order to do his job. Other heroes, carries need to constantly be farming. And most people think that carries are easy because you just farm and win. That's not true. Most people can't farm. They're bad at it. Farming is an art. It's not easy to do. And people just do it wrong and just not do it correctly and just think they want to kill heroes instead of actually farming. So being active doesn't mean always being aggressive, but you need to be active. And whenever you catch yourself not sure what the hell I'm supposed to do, stop, drop, and roll. Just stop in place for a second and think and go through that mental checklist. Whatever your role is, should I just be farming right now? Should I just be ganking right now? Should I just be buying wards and placing them? And that will that'll help so much, really, because you'll start understanding what you need to do at any point. And if you decide wrong, as long as you remain active, if you decide wrong, you'll understand that it's wrong because you'll fail or you'll die. So if you do something wrong, you'll fail and you'll do better. If you do something right, you'll understand why it's right and you'll do better. If you stand in place and do nothing. And that's what I want to say for it today. Thanks a lot for staying with me. I've been talking for 8 minutes. Holy crap! I'll see you next time. Laters.